Okay, bear with me. It's 5 a.m. on Sunday, the 8th of. Had you going for a moment there? Right, start again. It's 5 a.m. on Sunday, the 8th of August, 2021. And it's 5 a.m., but I haven't been asleep. I've been awake since 4 a.m. And I was triggered awake at 4 a.m. by the uncontrolled tremor in the hands, which I still have now. The tremor consistently wakes me up at 4 a.m. and doesn't let me get back to sleep again until the pill that I take resets the level of L-Dopa in my brain so that I can settle down again. Now, how long does this take? Well, yesterday was the 7th of August. At approximately 10 p.m., I took one dose of the Madopar 100 milligram, which means that taking that at 10 p.m. probably took about an hour to start to take effect, and it lasted through a cycle up and down from 10 p.m. when I took it till 4 a.m. when it took me. In other words, I had to take another one. So that's a period of 6 hours approximately. Some of that time, I don't know exactly what was taking place, but obviously there's the absorption process. So at least the first hour from 10 until 11 p.m., there was no benefit because the pill was being processed through the digestive system till it eventually gets into the bloodstream, then starts to take effect. So that probably meant I got to sleep around 11. And then I had sleep from 11 until 4, a total of 5 hours. So 5 hours beneficial effect, apparently, at least while asleep. My current cycle during the day is to take 2 of these tablets, that is 200 milligrams, every 3 hours, which is an increase over the amount that was prescribed, but it is what I have reached because that seems to be the natural cycle while I'm awake. In other words, if I take it starting at 7 a.m. in the morning when I take one of those pills, then 3 hours later, 10 a.m., I take 2 pills. Then another 3 hours later, at 1 p.m., I take another 2 pills. Then 3 hours later after that, 4 p.m., another 2 pills. Then up to 7 p.m. when I take another 2 pills. And then back for another 3 hours, 10 p.m., I should, in theory, take 1 pill, but actually I don't. At that stage, I take other pills, which are intended to help with the absorption, specifically the On-Genesis capsules. This medication apparently spreads out the effect of the Madopar by approximately, well, I need to take it at least 1 hour before or after taking any Madopar, which means that if I take the Madopar at 10 as planned, then there's a chance I might not be able to get to sleep. So instead I take this thing at 10 and the Madopar at 11. And hopefully that lets me get to sleep. But sometimes I forget to take the Madopar. Anyway, having said that, the symptoms of this. As far as I can tell, my thinking capacity is reduced. For example, I read something about data protection law, and it takes me a little longer to comprehend it and to understand it and to post late at night. And when I'm posting on the computer, my hands are shaking so much that I'm making mistakes. And it takes me twice as long to go through and correct those errors. So there's definitely a retardation, a slowing down, if you like, of the intellectual capacity and the speed. I don't think this is something I'm imagining. I believe it to be real, and it's consistent with my thinking. Now, on to positive news. Shortly, I will have come into my possession. In other words, I ordered and paid for, and they will deliver. They, being an Australian company, a laser-based device which apparently can have beneficial effects on Parkinson's disease. Now, what's the mechanism for that? Well, let's see if I can remember describing that. So basically, Parkinson's disease is a disease of inflammation, and the inflammation apparently starts in the stomach. And the stomach cells, some of which are similar to neurons, because there is a stomach to brain connection, can be affected by that inflammation, and that effect can cause waste products to enter into the bloodstream or possibly the cerebroneural CNS nervous system. It's not clear to me exactly where they travel. However, these, I hesitate to use the word toxins, but waste products apparently can trigger a blockage in the mitochondrial pathways. I need to learn more about what the mitochondria do, because everybody knows they're the powerhouse of a cell, but there's much more to it than that. So apparently the mitochondrial pathways are blocked, and this leads to neurodegeneration, or the death of neuron cells in the part of the brain called the medulla nigra, some sort of black section of the brain towards the center of the head. And when those cells are dead, they trigger things like Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's disease is nothing more than the death of cells related to blockage of the mitochondrial pathways. Now, the theory is that the inflammation can be reduced in the stomach through the application of pulsed laser, specifically infrared laser light. That means it's not visible to the naked eye. You certainly wouldn't want to point it at your eye, so don't do that. But instead, apparently from what I've seen, you point the laser device, which is like a pen or similar, some sort of device. I don't think I have something similar, but we'll assume this tab of Voltron cream is that. So assuming this is where the laser comes out, the laser is applied to various parts of the stomach for a certain period of time until it beeps, I understand. That gives you a controlled dose. And in theory, according to clinical trials carried out in Australia, that laser pulsed light can reduce inflammation, which in turn can reduce, through some mechanism I need to better understand and we'll try to study up for next discussions, will reduce the inflammation effect in the brain, which triggers the cellular death through the mitochondrial pathway. So, 10 minutes. apart from the glitch at the beginning, which I'm going to leave in place because that's another sign that there is a problem. What else? Before I finish, yeah, dose, of course, has to change because this is currently not tolerable. Hopefully, and this is where I'm experimenting on myself, I don't intend to change the dose until I've started the course of laser therapy. And let's give it a month to see if there's a reduction in the inflammation, and associated with that, a lengthening of the on time, the period for which the medication is effective. So my hypothesis is that by using the laser, I can wake up later. So instead of waking up at 4 a.m., as I did this morning, maybe I'll wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. We'll see. Yeah, this is becoming a consistent problem with long-term issues, and particularly, now I've forgotten the word for it, when you can't get to sleep. Insomnia wasn't that far away. Yeah, we'll talk about the memory losses at another stage if I remember. Good night.